From Jose Altuve's conscience, and let me tell you, it's small and dark and not much light gets in. This is Kurt Berglund with more Pine Tar Baseball. This is the premiere game of our Best of the 2010s set that just released today, May 17th, 2020. Here are the teams in the set. Available now at ttlbaseballgame.com. The 2010 Giants, the 2011 Rangers, the 2012 Orioles, the 2014 Angels, the 2016 Cubs, the 2017 Dodgers, the 2018 Red Sox, the 2018 Brewers, the 2019 Astros, and the 2019 Nationals. It's a 10-team set. You can order it now at ttlbaseballgame.com for Pine Tar Baseball. Tonight, our very first game with the set. Very exciting. We'll match up the 2019 Houston Astros, winners of 107 games and first place in the American League West. And they ultimately lost in the World Series. Excuse me. My doctor said I'm not getting enough tar in my diet, so I had to start smoking. They lost the 2019 World Series 4-3 to the Washington Nationals. They are the visiting team in this one. The home team, the 2012 Baltimore Orioles, winners of 93 games. They finished second by 2 games in the American League East. Then they won the wild card game over the Texas Rangers and lost the American League Division Series 3-2 to the New York Yankees, a team loaded with power and a phenomenal bullpen and a little bit of luck along the way, and who doesn't like to have that? All right, so those are our teams. Here are the lineups for the visiting Houston Astros from 2019. Leading off in center field, it is George Springer. Batting second, playing second, Jose Altuve. Batting third, playing left field, Michael Brantley. Batting fourth, playing third base, Alex Bregman. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, Yordan Alvarez. Batting sixth, the shortstop, Carlos Correa. Batting seventh, the third baseman, Yuli Gurriel. Batting eighth, the catcher, Robinson Chirinos. And batting ninth in right field, Josh Reddick. Those are the 9 for Houston on the road in Camden Yards at Baltimore this evening. For the 2012 Orioles, here is their batting order. Leading off in left field, it is late season acquisition, Nate McLouth. Batting second at shortstop, J.J. Hardy. Batting third in right field, Nick Markakis. Batting fourth in center field, Adam Jones. Batting fifth and doing the catching for Baltimore, Matt Wieters. Batting sixth and playing first base, Chris Davis. Batting seventh and playing third base, Mark Reynolds. Batting eighth, the DH, Jim Thome. And batting ninth and playing second base for the Orioles tonight, Ryan Flaherty. On the mound for these two teams, for the visiting Houston Astros, it's Justin Verlander. who on the road has a rating of A+, as you can see, and the third time through the order remains an A+. He has a maximum innings pitched of 7, and he has automatic strikeouts on rolls of 55 through 60 and 77. For the homestanding Baltimore Orioles, it's Jason Hamill, the right-hander. He is a B the first 2 times through the order, and the third time he becomes a D. He has a maximum innings pitch of 6, and he has automatic strikeouts on 55 and 77. Justin Verlander made 34 starts on the year for Houston. Hamill made 20 on the 2012 season for the Baltimore Orioles. So it should be a good one. Both of these teams can hit. We'll see if the pitchers allow them to. George Springer stands in the right-handed batter's box to get this one going, and here we go. Get you a little bit familiar with pine tar in case you're not. The green dye is the indicator dye. If it's odd, that tells you to read the red dye first in the sequence. If it's even, you read the blue dye first. The white dye is always second. So this is odd. We go red, and it's 28. We look in the right-handed column for Springer, and that's a walk for George, and he is aboard with nobody out in the first inning. Jose Altuve stands in. He hit .298 in 2019 with a .353 on base percentage. Pitch to Altuve is a 15. That ends in a 5 or a 0, so we look for a pitching modifier. This is odd, so we do red, so it's 15. Look on his column, 15 is found in the singles column. We look on the pitching modification table, and that becomes a walk, except with a B pitcher, you cannot walk on the first walk roll with a runner on first. So it's ball 2, and we roll again for Altuve. Springer still at first base. The pitch is a 19. This is 6, so we go to the blue dye. It's 1-9, 19. We look at Altuve. That falls in his single range, and that is a base hit for Jose. Springer will stop at second. We get runners at first and second for Michael Brantley. There's nobody out in the first inning. In 2019, Michael Brantley, as you can see on his card, hit .311 with an on-base average of .372. Pitch to him from Hamill is a 55, which is an automatic strikeout, and the Orioles have their first out of the evening. Runners still at first and second. That's Springer at second. It's Altuve at first, and Alex Bregman standing in there. He hit .296 in 2019, and that's a 66, which will be a range check. For whom? It goes to J.J. Hardy. Hardy gloves it, and he's going to flip to Flaherty. It's covering second, and they'll settle for 1 out at second base. So Springer moves up to third. Bregman is safe at first on the fielder's choice. And with 2 outs, Alvarez comes up as I take a drink of water. And Alvarez stands in at .313 on the season. The Astros have men at the corners, and there is no score in the ballgame so far. This one is a 2, so that tells us to go to the blue dye. It's a 19, which falls in the single column. So Alvarez gets a single to fall in. Springer will score from second. It's a bloop. And so Bregman will stop at second. Springer scores from third, Bregman stops at second, and the Astros are on the board 1-0 in the top of the first. With 2 outs, Carlos Correa comes to the plate, .279 average in 2019 with a .358 on base percentage. This one is a 3, so we go to the red dye. It's an 82, and that's a fly ball to center field, where Adam Jones will happily put it away. And the Astros are retired in the first, but they do score 1 run on 2 hits, and they leave 2. We go to the bottom of the first. It's 1-0 Houston. Justin Verlander is finishing his warm-up tosses in the bottom of the first. He winks to his model wife, Kate Upton. Actually, she's not a model wife. Well, maybe she is a model wife, but she's a model wife, if you know what I mean. So, leading off for the Orioles will be left fielder, the scrappy one, Nate McLouth. He had 268 in 2012. 3 is on the green indicator die, so we look to the red die, and that will tell us it's a 0-3. We look for a 3 on McLouth's card, and sure enough, he hit that one inside the left field line, past Bregman, and it's going to rattle around in the corner before Brantley collects it. McLouth is on with a leadoff double off Justin Verlander in the bottom of the first inning. J.J. Hardy stands in. J.J. Hardy stands in. What do they want to do here? Buck Showalter, no stranger to small balls, so they're going to ask J.J. to lay one down. And it's a 13. And his sacrifice hit chances are good through 86. So this sacrifice is good. He bunts it to Gurriel, who's going to flip to Altuve, and that will retire Hardy. However, McLouth, as planned, moves to third base. So with one out, the Orioles have the tying run at the plate, on third, for Nick Markakis, who hit 298 in 2012 and was in the middle of a fine run with the Orioles. Pitch to Nick is a 25, which is a single, but it ends in a 5, so we look at the modification table. And he swings and misses. Verlander turns that into strike 3. So with 2 outs now, Adam Jones, the cleanup hitter, stands in with a chance to tie the game. Adam hit 287 in 2012 with a 334 on base average. And he'd love to drive in Nate McLouth. And this one is an 11. We go to the even, which tells us blue die, and 11 is a single. So we do a range check on 11s and 22s. See if the Astros can make this play. It goes out to third base. That's Bregman. He cannot quite glove it, and it sneaks into left field. So Jones does indeed drive in the tying run. We're tied at 1 in the bottom of the first. Adam Jones, takes his spot at first base. And Matt Wieters comes to the plate, who hit 249 in 2012 with a 329 on base average. The pitch to Matt, same thing. We have a range check if it's a single, and it is. So we'll see who gets tested on this one. And it's Bregman again. And just once more, it's outside his reach, and so Wieters will reach safely. The Orioles have men at first and second now with 2 men out, and Chris Davis hitting 270 on the 2012 season and slugging .501, so plenty of power. Verlander in a jam in the first. And that is a 6, so we look blue. It's a 19. That's a walk, but it's not because Verlander is a B or better pitcher on the road. So it's ball 2 to Chris Davis. Davis ahead in the count and looking for something to drive. A 4 tells us the blue die is the 1, so it's an 87. This one's driven in the air to center field, and George Springer is going to pocket it. For the third out of the first inning, we go to the second. Each team has scored once. We're tied at 1 as we go to the top of the second. Jason Hamill coming out to see if he can improve on his first inning of work. It'll be Yuli Gurriel Chirinos and Reddick, the bottom third of the Houston order, standing in against Jason Hamill. Pitch to Yuli is a 30. It's a 1. Red indicator dies, so a 30 is a walk. We look to the pitcher modification chart because we have a 0 up or a 5 up on the white die. And that means that Gurriel lifts it to center field, and it's going to be Adam Jones coming in a few steps, and he'll make the play for out number 1. Robinson Chirinos, the catcher, 238 average on the 2019 season, stands in. And we have an error check, our first error check of the evening. We'll see who gets to do the honors on this one. It is the third baseman, that's Mark Reynolds. And Mark Reynolds makes the play on the pop-out, and that is, and that is 2 down for Houston in the top of the second. Now coming up, an odd choice, but one that A.J. Hinch used more than once in the 2019 season to bat last is Josh Reddick. Reddick, 275 on the season. A 4, an even roll, tells us that the blue die is the one we want, and 09 is a single for Reddick, and he is aboard with a single to center field for a base hit with 2 outs. And George Springer coming up, the top of the order. 292 for George in 2019. He has no official at bat so far. He walked and scored a run to lead off the game. 33 is ball 2 to Springer. He's ahead in the count, ball 2, and Reddick still on first. The pitch is an 80. And that's hit to right field, where Markakis is going to back up a few steps, but he's got room to make the play. And he does, to retire the Astros in the top of the second. We go to the bottom of the second, and we're tied at 1 in Baltimore. In this matchup between a couple of powerhouse teams of this last decade. Available now at ttlbaseballgame.com. Now up for the Orioles, Mark Reynolds, then Jim Thome, and Ryan Flaherty, the last third of the Baltimore order in the second inning. And Mark Reynolds, so we got an odd number here on the green die, so it tells us to look red first, so it's a 0-2. Mark Reynolds is going the other way, and that one's hit way high and way deep, and Josh Reddick's to the wall, and he's not going to catch this one. It's gone. Elvis has left the building, and it's a 2-1 Baltimore lead as Verlander is upset with himself, and Kate is in the stands just shaking her head and hoping for a little more airtime. Jim Thome will come to the plate now with the Orioles freshly having established their 2-1 lead. Thome hit .252 in 2012, nearing the end of the line for Slugger Jim. This is a 96. That's hit in the air to left field, and that's Michael Brantley for 1 down in the second. Ryan Flaherty, not in for his offense. Left-handed batting second baseman. Second base was a little bit of an odyssey for the 2012 Orioles. Brian Roberts not able to play well or play often. And Flaherty, it's a 4, so we look blue. It's a 33, and that's a strikeout for Verlander, his second on the game. And we go now to the top of the order, and that's Nate McLouth, who's 1 for 1 on the evening, with a double and a run scored. See if Nate can get a 2-out rally going for the Orioles. And that's a 0-4. And McLouth goes to left field. This one is in the gap. It's going to split Springer and Brantley and go to the wall as McLeod will take another double. 2 at-bats, 2 doubles for the Orioles leadoff man, and that'll bring up J.J. Hardy to try and drive him in with 2 outs. Orioles lead 2-1 off of Justin Verlander's offerings. And we've got a even number here, so we go blue die at 0-0, but we have a 0 on the white die, so we have a pitcher modification check. And that one's going to be a ground ball to Altuve, who's going to flip and that to Gurriel, and that will retire the Orioles in the second. However, thanks to the leadoff heroics by Mark Reynolds, the Orioles take a 2-1 lead after 2. Jason Hamill coming out for his warm-up tosses for the 3rd inning. And he will face Jose Altuve, Michael Brantley, Alex Bregman in the Houston 3rd. Try and get the cards under control here. Here we go. The pitch to Jose is an 86, and that's a fly ball to center field where Adam Jones will happily pocket it for 1 man out. And now Michael Brantley will stand in. Michael is 0 for 1 on the day with a strikeout in the 1st inning against Jason Hamill. Pitch to Michael is an 85, and this one's hit to center field. Eric Davis. Yeah, I got Eric Davis playing center field. Adam Jones is going to back up a few steps, and he'll make the play for the 2nd out. And now Alex Bregman will stand in. Alex, 0 for 1 today, reached on a fielder's choice in the 1st. And that's a 55, which is an automatic strikeout for Jason Hamill, who's looking a lot like Justin Verlander at the moment. So we go to the bottom of the 2nd. It's Baltimore 2, Houston 1. And Mr. Verlander, or should I call him Mr. Upton, will face the heart of the Baltimore order. It'll be Markakis, Jones, and Wieters. He struck out Markakis in the 1st inning, and Nick's only at bat on the evening. Pitch homeward bound is a 10, ends in a 0, and that's a strikeout. 2nd one of the night for Nick Markakis, 3rd of the evening for Justin Verlander. Adam Jones stands in, drove in a run with a single in the 1st. The Orioles cleanup hitter. Pitch to Adam, 33. He is plunked, hit by a pitch, and he will take his base with 1 man out. And that'll bring up Matt Wieters, the Orioles slugging catcher, who singled in the 1st. 1 man on, 1 man out. The pitch to Matt Wieters is a 53, which is a ground ball to 1st. Gloved by Gurriel. He throws to Correa, and they get the out at 2nd, but that is all as the return throw is late, and Wieters legs it out. With 2 outs and Wieters on 1st, it's Chris Davis, the much maligned first baseman, DH, and sometime outfielder of the Baltimore Orioles. He's 0 for 1 on the evening. Pitch to Chris is a 54, which is strike 3 swinging, and Verlander gets him. So we've played 3 in Baltimore, where the Orioles have a slim 2-1 lead. We go to the 4th, and it'll be Alvarez, Correa, and Gurriel for Houston. Alvarez 1 for 1 on a single in the 1st. up against Jason Hamill for the second time. Pitch to him is a 7. No, yes. So even, we look blue. Blue is the lead number, 07. We look on Alvarez's card, and we have a drive to center field. Adam Jones is way back. His back is to the wall, and this one is out of here. It is gone. Elvis has left the building, and Alvarez has tied the game at 2. Houston power coming through. It's 2-2 in Baltimore with nobody out in the 4th, and Carlos Correa stands in. Wants to keep it going. We got a 10, and that's a walk. Correa draws a walk. Hamill might be a little bit rattled from the Alvarez homer, and now Gurriel stands in. Astros have a number of things they can do here. Let's see what A.J. Hinch decides to do. Correa takes his lead off first. Hamill to the belt. The pitch to Gurriel is a 73. That's hitting the air to right field. Nick Markakis coming in, and he'll glove it for the first out of the inning for Baltimore. Robinson Chirinos is up. The light-hitting catcher, 0 for 1 tonight. With Correa still on first base, Hamill to the belt. The pitch home is a 97. That's a line shot, gloved by Chris Davis. And that's 2 down. And now Josh Reddick with the last chance, maybe, for the Astros. He's up with 2 outs, and Correa still on first base. Josh singled back in the second inning. The pitch is ball 2. Ball 2 for Reddick. He'll have a good pitch to hit, maybe. Pitch home is a 53. That's a ground ball to second. Flaherty is going to flip to J.J. Hardy the short way and end the Astros' 4th inning. However, on the strength of a Yordan Alvarez homer, the Astros tie this one at 2 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Justin Verlander coming back out. He will face the bottom third of the Orioles order. Mark Reynolds, Jim Thome, and Ryan Flaherty. Reynolds homered in the second to give the Orioles a brief 2-1 lead. And he'd love to do the same. Verlander, the wind. The pitch is a swinging strike 3. And that's 1 out for him in the Orioles' 4th. Jim Thome stands in against Verlander. Jim's 0 for 1. 61 is a swinging strike 3. That's 2 on the inning for Justin. 6 on the game. And Ryan Flaherty stands in with 2 outs and nobody on. Pitch to Ryan is a nasty curveball, and Verlander strikes out the side. In the 4th, we have played 4 and settled nothing. It's 2-2 in Baltimore. And the top of the 5th will mean that is the 3rd time through the order, as it works out, for the Astros in this game. That means by Pine Tar rules, we do a check on the pitcher's rating, and sure enough, Jason Hamill falls from a rating of a B to a rating of a D the 3rd time through the order. So Buck Showalter will be watching him closely, and George Springer's going to lead off the inning, 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. And George draws a walk to lead off the 5th. It'll be Jose Altuve standing in, looking to do damage. Going to be some action starting in the Baltimore bullpen. Let's see who they want to go with here. Wow. Well, it's going to be Luis Ayala warming up in the Baltimore pen. And Altuve is going to help to decide how quickly he gets himself ready. Altuve stands in, Springer's on first. And Altuve is 1 for 2 on the evening with a single back in the first inning. And that's ball 4 to Altuve because Hamill has dropped to a D rating. So Altuve takes his base and Michael Brantley stands in. And Buck's not liking this, but Ayala's not ready yet, so Brantley stands in. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout on the evening. Pitch to Michael is a base hit. That's a base hit, and it's trouble. It is trouble. It's down the line in right field. Markakis is going to have to go get it. Brantley's going to score easily. Altuve is at third, and they will hold him there. And it's second and third with nobody out. Now for Alex Bregman, and the wheels have fallen off Jason Hamill's cart. So Buck's going to come get him. We're going to see a relief pitcher here in the top of the 5th. We'll give you Hamill's numbers upon his exit. Jason went 4 innings. He allowed 5 hits. He walked 4 men. He struck out 2. He has allowed 3 runs. They're all earned. And he is responsible for 2 more on base. Luis Ayala was a middleman, setup man, but Buck wants to stop the bleeding here in the top of the 5th. Ayala, for Baltimore in 2012, pitched in 66 games. At home, he has an A+ rating. He has no automatic strikeouts or walks, and he has a maximum inning pitched of 1. And I'm sure if he can get Buck out of this inning, Buck will be very happy about it. So while it is tempting to play the infield in at this point, they're not going to do that. Bregman is 0 for 2 today. He comes to the plate with Altuve on third, Brantley on second, and nobody out in the inning. Bregman 0 for 2 with a strikeout, stands in looking to increase the lead for Houston. And that is a 61, which is a ground ball to second base. That's gloved by Flaherty. He's going to make the play to first base. That'll score Altuve from third. It'll also move Brantley to third. And the Astros do indeed increase their lead to 4-2 as a result of Mr. Bregman's work. Alvarez is now coming to the plate. They're going to pitch to him. Brantley is on third. There's 1 man out. The infield now will move in and try and choke off that run before it gets to the plate. It's 4-2 Astros here in the 5th. 70. 70. Now I gotta look and check on this. Okay, so a 70 is a ground ball to first. That's gloved by Chris Davis, but he fumbles it. He's going to make the play to first, and that will allow Brantley to score with the 5th Astros run of the ball game. So there are 2 outs now and nobody on, and the Astros with a 5-2 lead. Carlos Correa wants to restart the line, and he's 0 for 1 today with a walk. Pitch to Carlos is driven high and deep. That's an 0-6. That's left field. McLouth to the wall, and this one's gone. Elvis has left the building one more time, and it's 6-2 Houston. Gurriel with 2 outs will come to the plate. Yuli 0 for 2 on the evening. 14, that's a base hit, and that's right field, where Markakis will take it on the 3rd hop and throw it back into Flaherty. Chirinos, the next batter, with 2 outs and Gurriel on first. 0 for 2 for Robinson tonight. This is another hit. That's a base hit to left field. Gurriel will take 3rd. And the Astros have men at the corners again, and Ayala is in a major jam. This thing's going to get out of hand if he can't stop the bleeding. Ayala stands in 1 for 2 on the, Reddick stands in 1 for 2 on the evening. And it's a 49, which is a ground ball to second. That's Flaherty, who's going to flip to Hardy, and that will retire the side with the Astros hang a 4 spot and bat around on Baltimore. We go to the bottom of the 5th, and it's 6-2 Houston, with the top of the Baltimore order coming to the plate. McLouth, Hardy, and Markakis to face Verlander. Baltimore's bullpen is going. They're going to need a new pitcher in the 6th. McLouth stands in, and he strikes out. Verlander, after allowing 2 doubles and 2 at-bats to him, gets him under control for 1 out in the 5th. J.J. Hardy stands in. J.J.'s 0 for 1 with a successful sacrifice bunt. Pitch to J.J. is a ground ball to shortstop. That's Correa, who gloves it and throws to Gurriel. And that's 2 down. And Markakis stands in there. 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts tonight for Nick. And Nick Markakis has his 3rd K of the evening. He's got the hat trick set up by the 5th inning, which is always nice. It takes the pressure off for later. After 5 complete, Verlander seems to have righted the ship. He's retired the last 8 in a row. It's Houston 6, Baltimore 2. And the top of the Houston order coming to bat, Springer, Altuve, and Brantley. And who are the Orioles going to call upon now? You might be asking yourself. I might be asking myself. And the answer will be Tommy Hunter. Tommy Hunter is on. Here in the Top of the sixth. Tommy is a D pitcher at home. He does not have a modifier change for strikeouts or walks, and he can go a maximum of 2 innings in relief. They're looking for some long relief from Tommy Hunter in this one. All right. So, Springer stands in. It's a 6-2 Astros lead. And the pitch is a line drive, base hit, center field, right back at Hunter. And Springer's aboard with a single, and he's 1 for 2 with a couple of walks, doing what leadoff men are supposed to do, and that's get on base. Jose Altuve stands in. Jose 1 for 2 with a walk. A run scored last inning. Jose hits a comebacker to Hunter. He will knock it down. It rolls away from him. He grabs it and throws to first to Davis for the out. However, Springer advances to second base. Altuve is out at first, and Michael Brantley stands in. He'd love to have a ribby. 1 for 3 with a double, a run scored, and a strikeout for Michael on the evening. This is a 51. That's a ground ball first base. Davis is going to flip to Hunter, and that's 2 down. And now Alex Bregman with a man on third base and 2 outs will face Hunter. Alex is 0 for 3 with a ribby on the evening. He also struck out once against Hamill. A 69 is a ground ball to third base. That's Reynolds, who gloves it and throws across to Davis. And that will retire the Astros in the 6th. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Verlander's back out. It's Jones, Wieters, and Davis for Baltimore as they try and climb back in this one against one of the best pitchers of our generation, I think it's fair to say. A 52 for Adam is a ground ball to first. That's Gurriel, who's going to flip to Verlander for out number 1, and it's 9 in a row for Justin. Matt Wieters 1 for 2 on the evening. Looking to get an Orioles rally started here in the 6th. And that one is strike 3 on a hook from Verlander. And Justin now has 3, 4, 6, 8, 10 strikeouts on the evening. That's strikeout number 10. And Chris Davis, who has struck out once already himself, 0 for 2 on the evening. And Chris strikes out himself. That's number 11 in 6 innings for Verlander. So now we have something to keep an eye on. How high can Justin go? We had 11 strikeouts through 6. After 6, it's Houston 6, Baltimore 2, and Alvarez coming to the plate. He's 2 for 3. He's homered. Back in the 4th and now Tommy Hunter sends this delivery homeward bound, and it's a base hit to left field as Alvarez singles. He's got a nice night working, and Correa comes to the plate, 1 for 2. A home run for him in the 5th for Correa. Hunter's looking for a double play. A 77 is a ground ball to third. That's gloved by Reynolds. He's going to go to Flaherty for 1. The return throw is not in time as Correa legs it out. It's a fielder's choice for Correa, and Gurriel, who is 1 for 3, stands in. Alvarez was retired. There's 1 man out, and Correa on first. The pitch to Gurriel is an 83, lifted to center. Adam Jones pretty much in his tracks. And that's 2 down, and Chirinos now will stand in. 1 for 3 for Robinson. Not in there for his offensive contributions, but he did get on base at a 347 clip in 2019. And as soon as I say that, he drills one down the line in left field. That one is going to get all the way to the wall. McLeod's going to have to go get it. Hardy out for the relay. Correa will be waved. The throw home from Hardy to get Correa is not in time, and it's 7-2 Houston as Chirinos comes through with his second hit of the ball game, driving in the 7th Astros run of the evening. Josh Reddick, who is 1 for 3, comes to the plate to face Hunter. And he strikes out swinging on a Hunter curveball, and that will retire the Astros. So Hunter stops the bleeding, but not before the Astros add one more tally to their total. It's 7-2 Houston as we go to the bottom of the 7th. The Orioles would like to, first of all, get on the board, but they also wouldn't mind stopping Mr. Verlander's strikeout train that seems to be cruising right along. All right, in the bottom of the 7th, it's Reynolds, Tomey, and Flaherty for Baltimore. Mark is 1 for 2 with a solo homer back in the 2nd. The pitch to Mark is strike 3 swinging. That's number 12 for Verlander. Here in the 7th, Jim Tomey 0 for 2 with a strikeout of his own with 1 out and nobody on. This is that was 12 in a row for Verlander. We have something different now. Range check for center field. That's Springer, who's going to make the play, and that's 2 down, 13 in a row for Verlander. And Ryan Flaherty, 0 for 2, both of them strikeouts. He wants to get on base any way at all. And he strikes out swinging on some Verlander gas. So Justin's up to, I want to recount this so that we know we've got the right amount, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 Ks. He's got 13 Ks in 7 innings. He's cruising right along. Now he's got a maximum innings pitched on his card. He's got a maximum innings pitched of 7, as you can see down here, but he's allowed 2 runs or less, and so he can keep going in this one. So we're going to need a new Baltimore pitcher because Tommy Hunter has pitched his 2-inning maximum. And they're going to go with who are they going to go with? They're going to go with Brian Matus. Brian Matus is on. He's a left-hander. He's on to pitch the 8th. He is an E at home. He's got walks on 55 and 77 and a maximum innings pitched of 1. He also did some starting work. He had 18 relief appearances, as you can see up here for Baltimore in 2012. Springer stands in with a .292 average, and he's 1 for 2 and 2 walks and 2 runs scored on the evening. Mr. Springer hits a ground ball to first. That's Chris Davis, who's going to flip to Matus, and that's 1 down. Jose Altuve standing in with 1 out and nobody on. 1 for 3 for Jose and a walk tonight. The pitch to Jose is driven to center. Adam Jones is going to go back to the track, and he's going to make the catch on this one. 2 down, and Michael Brantley stands in. The left-handed batting left fielder for Houston. hits one in the air to right, and that's Markakis, who will take it for out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning for Matus in the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th, and it's the top of the Baltimore order, desperately looking to get something going as they trail 7-2. Nate McLouth stands in against Justin Verlander, who has allowed 5 hits and 2 runs, and he has struck out 13 on the evening. Pitch to McLouth is a range check. And this range check will test Gurriel, who does not make the play. It's by him for a base hit, and McLouth is on with his 3rd hit of the evening. Is Verlander going to get in trouble now? The Astros brain trust, if I can use that term for them, is having a powwow in the dugout right now about bullpen activity. So, J.J. Hardy stands in 0 for 2 with a bunt. Pitch to him is strike 3. That's number 14 for Verlander. And Nick Markakis, who has the hat trick, 3 strikeouts and 3 at-bats so far. He is looking for the golden sombrero. 4 strikeouts on the evening. McLouth still nailed the first base. The pitch home to Nick is another range check. This is center field. Springer's going to get there and make the play. McLouth will return to first, and that's 2 down. And now Adam Jones with 2 outs would love to drill one into the seats and get the Orioles back in it. 1 for 2 with a hit by pitch, a single, and a RBI for Adam on the evening. But Adam has hit one to left, and it's deep, but not deep enough, as Michael Brantley's going to make the play and retire the Orioles. So McLouth breaks up the string for Verlander of 14 retired in a row, but Hardy adds to his string of strikeouts at 14, and we go to the 9th inning with a new Orioles pitcher, and it's going to be Darren O'Day, probably the league's best setup man in 2012. And the man Buck Showalter wants to keep this game under control so that maybe a big 9th inning can do some damage to Houston. It's going to be Bregman, Alvarez, and Correa for Houston to face O'Day. Darren O'Day is an A-plus pitcher at home. He's got strikeouts automatically on 55 and 77, and he's got a maximum of 1 inning pitched. In 2012, Darren had 69 appearances. All right, so Bregman is on an 0 for 4 day, but he has driven in a run. He's the cleanup hitter for Houston. The pitch to Alex is flied to left, and Nate McLouth is under it for out number 1 on the inning. And that'll bring up Alvarez. Alvarez, a 3 for 4 night with 2 RBIs and a solo homer. Pitch to him is grounded to first. That's Chris Davis, who will take it unassisted for 2 away. And Carlos Correa comes to the plate, 1 for 3, 2 runs scored, a solo homer, and a walk. He's also had a nice evening. And Carlos has lifted and separated. This one is way back, and McLouth to the wall. He will not get it. It's gone. 8-2 Astros. Correa's second on the evening. And the lead is 6 for the boys from Houston. Gurriel, doesn't it just make you want to smash a garbage can? I want you to appreciate, my dear listeners and viewers, I have made exactly one garbage can reference on the evening. I haven't beaten it to death, although I just did by talking about beating it to death. But I think my restraint is admirable. Gurriel 1 for 4 with a single back in the 5th against O'Day. And the Submariner delivers to Gurriel a off-speed offering that turns into a ground ball to Flaherty, who gloves it and throws to Davis. So the Astros are retired in the 9th. However, they add one, and they now lead 8-2 over the 2012 Orioles, and now it's the Justin Verlander race. How many is Justin going to get? He's sitting on 14 strikeouts. It's Wieters, Davis, and Reynolds. Between them, they have 5 strikeouts on the evening. Matt Wieters stands in. Matt is 1 for 3. Verlander cruising along. And that is a hit to right. Hit to right, but playable for Reddick. And that's 1 down. Chris Davis stands in. 0 for 3 for Chris with 2 strikeouts tonight. But a tough competitor, if you ask me. I like Chris Davis. I think it takes guts to do what Chris Davis has done and face his shortcomings and his slump. This one is a 70. That's hit on the ground to Altuve, and that will retire Davis. And with 2 outs in the 9th, Mark Reynolds comes to the plate. He's 1 for 3. He has homered and struck out twice, so he's tasted victory and defeat at the hands of Justin Verlander. Pitch to Mark. This one is lifted to left, and Brantley is going to get there, and that will end this ball game. So let's talk about line scores for the victorious Houston Astros. 8 runs on 12 hits, and they committed no errors. They left, just for fun, let's see, they left 4, 6, 7, 8 batters, 8 runners. They left 8 men on base. For the vanquished 2012 Baltimore Orioles, 2 runs on 6 hits, and they committed no errors as well. They left 3, 4, 5 men on base. The winning pitcher, Justin Verlander, go through his numbers for you. The losing pitcher is Jason Hamill. Verlander pitched 9 innings, went the route, allowed 6 hits. He walked none. He struck out 14. He allowed 2 runs. They were both earned, and he allowed 1 home run. So he definitely got the job done. We will call him the star of the game. So that concludes our very first teams of the 2010s ball game for you on my YouTube channel. Lots of teams in the set that were pretty amazing in the last decade. The set is available right now on TTLBaseballGame.com. These are the teams in the set. I encourage you to check it out. at ttlbaseballgame.com. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Kurt Berglund. Please click like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for being here. So long, everybody.